Hey guys, good morning. It's early. It's about 7:30 my time. I've been up since like 4:40 this morning. But this is Dan, and my channel is Engelgeist. Welcome. If you're watching this live, this is the Tarotscope for the month of March for the sign of Scorpio. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Scorpio, you may want to watch this to indicate or figure out what kind of month you might be having. For some reason, it's not broadcasting to YouTube or Facebook. Why is that? Oh, it is. There's Jamie. Good morning, Jamie. Okay, so it is showing up on Facebook. Okay. So maybe it's just not showing me that it's broadcasting. Okay. Well, anyways, we'll roll with it. So this is for Scorpio for sun, moon, or rising, or heavily placed planets. I consider 3 or more planets heavily placed. So if you have 3 or more planets in Scorpio, you may want to watch this just to see what kind of a March you're having. It is a broad spectrum reading intended to reach a lot of different people. So some of it might fit, some of it might not. That's completely fine. If it doesn't fit or doesn't sound like anything you're working on, that's okay. It could just mean that you might be working on something different this month. It could be the effect of where your planets are in what houses. There's a lot of different variables with Tarotscope, so don't take it to heart if it doesn't make sense. If anything I do say does make sense, then I want you to use your highest intelligence and intuition when making any of your decisions in your life. Any decisions that you make after having watched any of my videos, those decisions are solely your responsibility. Keeping that in mind, never take what I say over that of a professional in your field, like a doctor, a lawyer, or a therapist. If you're working with any of those type of people, always listen to them first and foremost. And again, listen to your own intuition and intelligence first and foremost over anything any YouTube reader says, quite frankly. I am available for private readings. If you wanted a personalized March reading, those are available to you. You can message me at my Facebook business page. If you're watching this via Facebook, great. Please feel free to go over and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and vice versa. If you're watching this on YouTube, go over and follow and like the Facebook business page. Beyond that, I also am available on Patreon. I have a daily forecast on this channel. You can tune in live in the morning. Well, it's not live, it's pre-taped. Those that are subscribed over on Patreon get the daily forecast a day early. So you can go over there, go to patreon.com, search Engelgeist. You can support the channel in that way. It also helps to keep this content free each month. So a big shout out to my supporters over there, my subscribers, because their money that they subscribe every month helps to keep this channel alive, and I greatly appreciate it. But if you do subscribe, you'll get the daily forecast a day early. There's also special readings that are available over there at the beginning of the month that are only available over there. They're not on the channel here. And then beyond that, let's just get into this reading and see what's going on. I'm going to try and get, obviously, Pisces and Cancer are done. We are in Pisces season. This is Scorpio, which is the last of the water signs. I will attempt to start the fire signs today, so I will go in order. So it will start at the beginning of the zodiac, Aries, then Leo, then Sagittarius. So keeping that in mind if you're looking for those signs. You're also more than welcome to cross watch if you are here on behalf of a Scorpio that you may care deeply about. That's fine. And please feel free to share this video out on your feeds, in your groups, wherever you feel like people could utilize it. If you like this video, if it resonates, please hit the thumbs up button, especially the YouTube people that are watching. It really helps the algorithm. I'm trying to build the channel and find subscribers. So it would be great if you guys could help me by spreading these videos far and wide on the interwebs. All right, so let's see what the first card is for Scorpio. Good morning, Kylie. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, our team. All right, so this first card is what I call like the signifier card. I'm using the self-care cards for the water signs. It just felt right. I mean, if I show you, this deck is unboxed in my unboxing videos. But if you look there, there's a beach scene and a woman in a shell. And I just sort of felt like we've had a hard 2020, and this felt like really kind of the right cards to use for the water signs. So we're going to see what the signifier is. The signifier always represents kind of where we might want to be focused, what the theme might be for the month for Scorpio, the overall arching theme, where we might want to, maintain focus or put our attention during the month of March. So let's see what Scorpio gets. Okay, I'll take it. I like this. First off, the word is playfulness. I love that it's sort of a lot of purple. The other two cards were both red. The red kind of had meaning in Pisces. It didn't so much have meaning in the Cancerian reading, but with this purple, to me, there's sort of like a mysticalness to this with my Scorpios, which I like that. Purple's usually a color of royalty. So I also like that. There was a theme, I will say this, that was very similar amongst the two water signs previous. And for the month of March, I don't know what Scorpios will be like, but it'll be interesting to see if that theme plays out again. What I do get here is this young girl is sleeping here. She's dreaming. I feel like I want to just say, obviously, maybe pay attention to your dreams, especially because we are in Pisces season. The season, Pisces is the sign of the dreamer. Scorpio being associated with water. You guys, your dreams might be prophetic, foretelling. You guys are very, very psychic. I love the light through the window. If you see that in her chest, right? That's also like the purity of who we are, in that purity of playfulness, that sort of spirit of being, in a state of joy, almost childlike in a way. I also see a peace to this sleeping girl, which I like. I don't get, it's funny, this says playfulness. I don't get a super playful vibe from this person, but I'm going to take it as it says, as the word says. There might be a little bit of introspection and also, like I said, dream work, or paying attention to your more subtle internal voices, the voices of your heart, the light and pureness of who you are. Maybe let down your guard a little bit this month, Scorpio, and play in that way, right? Where she's sort of opening her cloak and you're seeing maybe the inner child in there, allowing that part of you to come out this month. Scorpios, you guys can be really emotional people, but you kind of, my interpretation is you don't necessarily like to show it, right? In the sense that you're careful about how you're perceived. I feel like Cancerians and Pisces, we tend to be emotional too, but we kind of lose our plot a little bit in different ways. Scorpios tend to I feel like you guys get sort of maybe a little bit angry more so than sad, even though it might be sadness that lies underneath. And so you might get on your soapbox, you might get a little bit bossy. You kind of shift into overdrive when you guys get too emotional, if that makes sense, to kind of control stuff, where Pisces might just sort of melt down. Cancers might get real moody and sullen. It's a sort of a different way of operating. To me, this says, no, be open this month. Be a little bit vulnerable. Let those that you love see you a little bit more. Let down your guard a little bit, wherever and whenever it feels safe and appropriate to do so. All right, so let's read the back of the card really quick. The back of the card says, play with a child. Children are your greatest teachers. I feel like the child, like in this card, the child is our inner child, Scorpio. Do you see her there? Let her speak to you through your dreams, right? Let your sort of spirit self, that could be where the inner child resides, the truth of our heart, the beauty of that. Let that shine through this month. I also love that color purple, right? Where it's sort of that spiritual strength, that sort of treating oneself with, care, lifting oneself up as if you're royalty. I like that a lot. So do that for yourself this month. Now let's get into the cards and see what they have to say. Now, this first card always indicates sort of where my Scorpios are centered at for the month of March. You'll go in and out of this card, right? It just sort of gives me an overview, again, of where you're sort of operating from throughout the month in some way, shape, or form around whatever you're working with. Each one of you might be working with something different, so you'll have to kind of attribute that part to the reading. But this card gives me a little indication not only how you're operating for the majority of the month, or like sort of your theme or your center for the month, but also what you could be potentially creating for the future. So keeping that in mind as we look at this card. Wow. So this was the same card for Pisces. This is the 10 of Cups. I love this for Scorpio because this would indicate this idea of playfulness, of owning who we are, what we are. I have a feeling that all the water signs are going to go through very similar readings. I don't know why, but this 10 of Cups was the center card for Pisces too. It is a water sign or a water element card. Tens are about completions of cycles. If you look at this family of cats, this is a cat deck, but this is like a wonderful, safe family. They have everything that they need. They have all sort of the sun shining down upon them. This is sort of liberation, freedom, enjoyment at an emotional level too, feeling okay, accepted, loved even. And I think that when we feel that a little bit more, we're able to be in that playful energy, in that fun energy. I'm trying to remember what Pisces card was. I can't remember. I know it was red, but I can't remember. I'm sorry. It was yesterday. So anyways, I was just going to say, hook up with some of your Pisces friends if you have any this month. Even your Cancerian friends. We'll see what the rest of the cards are. But if there is this sort of, during the month of March for my water signs, I feel like there is this sort of good vibe, feeling in control, appreciating oneself during this March. It's definitely like a theme that I'm seeing. So go with that. You guys get to have a little bit maybe more fun with it, a little bit more opportunity to kind of maybe expose yourself in different ways or show more intimate sides of yourself, but also to feel very secure in doing so and to feel appreciative of that, to feel honest, true. That would be also like sort of the elements that I'm getting with this 10 of Cups, especially coupled with this playfulness card and the art in that card. Allow yourself to be seen in the month of March and have no sort of regrets or worries about that, right? It looks to me like you guys will feel, or at least in the emotional state that you'll be in throughout the month, because this is the 10 of Cups, it will feel abundant. It will feel great, really. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is kind of like the wishes granted card. So we'll feel complete, we'll feel whole. We might be, ending one cycle and beginning another. We do have a full moon in Virgo this evening, so that's always about endings and releasings. So that might be some of what we're entering into March with, is whatever we're letting go. This 10 of Cups is being emotionally okay with that and allowing that to go and allowing the joy in. All right. The next card is the Foundation card. This card tells me a little bit about the past. What I mean by foundation, it's this card or this event moment from the past that sort of opened the door for everything to be the way that it is today. So essentially everything is in the reading is built upon this card. Now, this card also can indicate to us, and why I look at this position is it can be sometimes the memory of this event or situation, person, whatever it may be, that could be holding everything in place, right? So we want to be aware of this. It can also be sometimes the memory of this card that is driving us forward into the future. So let's see what that is. All right, so we have the King of Swords. Now this would be the element of air. This could be an older male for some of you. This would be potentially an air sign, somebody that is either an Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This would be from the past if this is not somebody outside of you, right? And I want you guys to listen to the attributes that I'm going to just roll off for you. If this is not somebody outside of you, like say a significant person from the past that is maybe an older male, doesn't have to be a male, but potentially an older male in this role, this would be somebody that would be like a boss or an authority of some sort. He would be very decisive. He would be very clear cut, probably a little bit on the blunt side. He would definitely be in charge or a place of authority. Now, if this is Scorpio, if this is you, you could have been acting in the past from this place. Very analytical, approaching things with less emotion, trying to sort of clean house maybe in some way, shape, or form. Really putting yourself first above anybody and everybody. But the distinct impression that I get from this card as I'm looking at this is, while my Scorpios, if this is you personally, while my Scorpios were doing this, you maybe didn't really enjoy this period. It may needed to have happened, right? You may have needed to do it, make clear, decisive decisions. Like, that makes a lot of sense. But that's what I'm trying to get at, is just trying to be almost black or white about everything that you were dealing with in the past. Like, does this work for me? No, gotta go. boom, clip, done. Like hang up the phone, disconnect the line, unfriend that person. Whatever this was for you, this energy, if this was you, or this might have been a person that treated you in this way, right? Whatever this was for you, it felt a little, it's kind of getting, what I'm hearing is it was a little lonely at the top, right? In the sense that when we think in this way, yes, it helps us to get things done. Yes, it helps us to sort of be more practical, make, decisions more clearly from a place of honesty and truth. But it didn't necessarily feel good all of the time. It didn't necessarily get us what we want. There's no playfulness in the King of Swords. I would see more playfulness, say, in a page, or maybe a King of Cups would be more playful than the King of Swords, or maybe even the King of Wands would be a little bit more wanting to goof around with you. King of Swords, not really. King of Pentacles, not so much. So to me, this could be somebody that, like, for those of you that this is somebody outside of you, it could have been a boss that let you go. It could be a boyfriend that dumped you, right? But whoever this was, if it was somebody outside of you, or if it was you personally acting from the mindset of this King of Swords, decisive action needed to be taken in the past. What we're understanding now with that 10 of Cups in the center is that everything happened for a reason. And that although maybe we didn't necessarily feel totally emotionally connected to the decisions we were making at the time, we needed to make them. And I feel like we learned something from that. There was something powerful for us there as the King of Swords, or there was something powerful that that King of Swords maybe taught us, even if we had to feel some pain or emotional upset from it. Does that make sense? Now we're in this place presently, or at least heading into March with this 10 of Cups, where this says, okay, we can let go of that thing from the past, or we can let go of that analytical nature that was within us that we felt like we needed to maybe hide behind or use to protect ourselves, to make clear, easy decisions. That sort of black and white linear thinking that, yes, it keeps us safe and it keeps us sort of away from our emotions. But this 10 of Cups says, no, Scorpio, now those decisions have been made. You've cleared the path. Let's sort of relax and enjoy ourselves and get back to who we truly are. And again, we have this playfulness. She's revealing herself, revealing her true self, how she really feels sort of in this art. So remembering that there's certainly joy in that 10 of Cups, but there's also a truth in that, the nature of the cups that aligns with Scorpio, right? You guys are good at getting shit done. You're good at cutting away the fat kind of thing. I'll say this, Pisces and Cancers, we maybe aren't. Yes, you guys are emotional and you guys have major, major feelings, but you're good at fucking hiding them. And that's that King of Swords energy, right? But now we don't have to hide. That's the joy of the 10 of Cups, right? In the month of March, we get to bring that forward. We did the decisions, we did the hard stuff, or dealt with the hard stuff in the past. We've learned from it. We've been strengthened or grown from it. Does that make sense? Like educated ourselves in a way from it, because the King of Swords would be about education, or the element of the mind and the intellect. So that period in the past did serve us. And I like that he's our foundation, Scorpio, because we are operating from still that truth and that honesty, but there's an emotional honesty that's in that 10 of Cups that you guys get to experience this month that will be beautiful for you. That will be sort of maybe even healing for you and those around you that you love. And that's part of this playfulness too, right? So when we play in those emotions and we allow ourselves to be who we truly are, that could be the children that, metaphorically, the children that are your greatest teachers could be our emotions, right? We might look down upon our emotions and see us as being childish, or, oh, I can't do that because it's beneath me, or whatever, because the King of Swords would certainly say that. But maybe be a little childish, be a little selfish this month, and allow yourself to have fun and feel and run that whole gamut, because the 10 of Cups would be the whole gamut of the emotions, but it's definitely under control. It feels good. It feels abundant and healthy and well, right? Definitely set in a place of love more so than, anger or frustration. But, if you've experienced some of those things this month too, don't deny them by any means. Allow yourself to feel the broad spectrum of everything that is your emotional self. All right, so the next card is above you. This is the Spirit card, or the higher self card. It tells me a bit about sort of what your spirit or higher self wants you to focus on during the month of March, or what it's trying to call to your attention. So let's see. Interesting. This is the 7 of Swords. I feel like, was this not in... Oh my God, I think this might have been in Pisces position. Or was it Cancer? The Seven of Swords was in this position for one of the other two water readings. Now, see, this is where I get kind of like weirded out because I try and separate myself from the reading, but when the cards come out like this, because I was sort of, that's why I didn't do, all right, it's a little caveat. That's why I didn't do Scorpio's reading yesterday, because after I did Pisces and Cancer and I started sort of seeing the same message, I was like, maybe I needed more separation between those two readings. I saw sort of a difference, but the sort of overall theme seemed very similar between those two signs. Here, this card was in one of those two signs in this position as the higher self card. And this is the reason why it stands out in my mind is because this is a strange card to have in the higher self space. The Seven of Swords indicates somebody or a situation where we're not being honest with ourselves, right? It's something where either someone is betraying us in some way or someone is maybe not telling us all of the truth. It could be a lie by omission. It could be absolute thievery. It could be a betrayal of some sort that is definitely going on around us. Sometimes it can be known, sometimes unknown. When this is sitting in the spirit space and the way that I sort of interpreted it for the other water reading, whichever sign it was that trying to remember which sign it was. It kind of felt like we needed to not pay attention to the betrayals. With this here, I'm going to say it's sort of the same thing. Again, Scorpio, we don't want to be looking backward. We don't want to be looking. I kind of feel like that King of Swords at the bottom may have been maybe us, or if, like I said, if it was a boss that fired us or a boyfriend that cut us loose, whatever it might have been in the past, if that betrayal still sort of hangs or is around us, we need to stay cognizant of it. We need to be remembering it. And why I mean that is this Ten of Cups is a very sort of buoyant, lovely card. Things are feeling good. We might feel a little bit more forgiving. We might feel a little bit more like all's well in the world in the month of March. And we don't want to allow in somebody or something or if this is us, some way of thinking where we are potentially lying to ourselves, or there's a possibility where we may betray our own best thinking, right? Or somebody else may betray us. And so this is a strange card to have in this position only because it is about a betrayal, and your soul or higher self is never out to betray you. What I feel like this is it's a warning, like, be careful what thoughts we keep during this month. But see, this is the thing, that Ten of Cups indicates that you're going to be feeling good. So I feel like your thoughts, and even the King of Swords down below, he's got more clarity. So that says to me, don't let whatever you cut away in the past back in to muck you up. This is sort of very similar to what was going on with Pisces and Cancer. I will say this too. I was reading it the other day about the Virgo moon and the full moon in Virgo, and it's really about kind of cleaning house. Full moons are about releasing, but the sign of Virgo can be about sort of getting work done, cleaning house, taking care of business. And so I was reading some sort of article about the full moon in Virgo release and sort of what it surrounds. If I could find it, I would read it to you, but this kind of reminds me of that. And maybe this is why I'm seeing these, because I'm doing this so close to the full moon. But there seems to be this theme of don't let the past back in. Don't let it, because all of the water signs had very strong center cards that felt very in line. The Ten of Cups is in your wheelhouse. It's water energy. It's who you are, Scorpio. It's beautiful. And it's also about ending chapters. So again, and also the Knight of Swords would be very decisive in those endings. If that was you making those decisions in the past, don't allow the good feelings of like, now you feel okay, you've had a little space from whatever the situation was. I kind of feel like the word here is don't let that shit back in. So let's see what the other cards are, but this is weird. I hope that this is not me just reading the same reading over again to all three signs, but it feels very similar in energy. It could be that we're all in Pisces season, but usually I do have one or two signs in the same suit that might be similar, but this is very, very similar. So if the fire signs start coming out with the same messages, I need to quit or not do March. But let's see what's going on. Because these cards are hitting in the exact same positions and I'm shuffling the shit out of the deck. All right, so the next two cards are the outside influences. These are things that could be influencing us either positively or negatively during the month of March. They can be people, events, sometimes things like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us, right? So let's see what they're not of us. They're like around us, or we've adopted them into our lives and we assume that they're us because they've been taught to us, right? So we live our life by them, but they may not be. So let's see. All right, I'll take it. So this is the Page of Cups. Page of Cups would indicate a water sign, a younger male, somebody that's exuberant, joyful, friendly, magical thinking. Certainly, there's an optimism to the Page of Cups that cannot be beat in the deck. I would say probably Page of Cups might be my secondary favorite card next to the Star. There's just a magicalness, and I love to think magically. If this is not somebody around you, this is a blessing. Right? Blessings from sort of the world or the environment around you coming at you in kind of emotional and creative ways. I love that it's the Page of Cups or the Knave of Cups, and you're in that 10 of Cups energy this month. I feel like those two are very connected because it's obviously emotional and Cups energy, but I also feel like we get to experience the joy of whatever that page brings us. It might not be fully realized because it's the page, right? So whatever these events are, or this person may be, if it is somebody that's like needing to find their way in a way or be taught in some way, shape, or form, be there to teach them. With that 10 of Cups and with the strength of that King of Swords underneath, you have the awareness, you have the intelligence. You might be able to bond with this person. For some of you, this could be a very special friendship, somebody that you relate to very well. This could be, I don't know why, but I'm getting sort of a teacher-student sort of vibe from it. In the sense, even though the 10 wouldn't be bigger than the page, to me it feels like that King of Swords is Scorpio's past. So you might find somebody coming to you looking for some emotional guidance, and because you're in a good place in that 10 of Cups energy, allow them to learn from you. Right? Teach them a little bit about how to be happy. The Page of Cups would be a happy guy, right? It can also, pages sometimes bring messages with them. This Cups upon Cups, or the 10 and the page being right next to one another, the message to me feels like it's in alignment with where you're at emotionally. It feels like it will be good. I feel like this is definitely a good influence that's going on. If this is something that we've been taught, let's say, this is about remembering, like, again, that playfulness, right? This would definitely be playfulness, the Page of Cups. I forgot about this card over here. This, children are your greatest teachers. Allow this optimism of this Page of Cups, however it represents. If it's a newness of a situation, right? Be open to it. Be pure in your thinking. Be childlike and be in wonderment versus being, bitter or what's the word, like cynical, right? And that cynicism could be that 7 of Swords up in the higher self space. It's calling out to you to be like, don't slip into these thoughts or these, don't betray yourself in this way. Stay open, stay available. Know that you'll make the right decision when you need to. That's the King of Swords being down in the foundation. He's ultimately driving this car, or from the past, we've made some right decisions along the way in the past, although we might not have felt as emotionally centered to them or as connected to them. We had to be a little bit more analytical. Now's a time to sort of reconnect emotionally in a very pure and, I would feel, deep and fulfilling way, and allow that to be your guide. Don't slip into cynical thinking or pessimistic thinking, or the pessimistic and cynical thoughts of others, right? Because it's real easy to do that too. There's a lot going on in this world. We've all been under a lot of stress. I really cannot even quantify the amount of, and this is a little sidetrack, but I'm going to share it anyways. Even in the simple act of like going to a restaurant to pick up to-go food, it's like, with the looming sort of nature of like the world we live in at this point, it's like you take your life into your own hands when you go around others right now. It's really a strange world we live in. And that's anybody that's like relatively conscious or paying any sort of attention, that's in the back of their mind, in the back workings. Yes, we manage. Yes, we adapt. And yes, we're sort of moving along in our lives. But there is something to be said for that sort of shift that has taken place within each and every one of us. And I think that that's far more powerful than we realize. So what I see here is this is Scorpio's opportunity to not maybe dwell in that. I'm not saying be stupid and do whatever you want, but stay pure in your thoughts, stay pure in your joy, keep that as your focus. Don't let what's going on in the outside world fuck with you. If that makes any sense. I know it does, Scorpio, but I always worry when I swear, but I do say, I swear like a sailor. So let this Page of Cups come in, bring you some of his love, his optimism, his buoyancy. And if this is you or some aspect of you that's from, the past that you haven't pulled in on or brought forth, bring it forth this month. It feels very beneficial. Let's look at the other outside influence. I'll take it. Okay, we've got the Chariot. We've got another white cat. White cats, or just anything white, like if it's a cat or a horse or a bird or whatever, I always associate it with purity. So it's always like a good sign to me. Not that white is better than black. Black teaches us just as much as white does. But I love this white cat. We have the balance of the two peacocks. The Chariot is major arcana, right? Chariot is also the symbol of Cancer. So we've got a lot of water energy running through the center here. Okay, I'm just going to say that because that's like a pattern that I see. We also have, I like that there's a balance of the air of the King of Swords in the bottom and the Seven of Swords up above. So to me, this is telling me, or the way that I see this is, Scorpio, to stay in the goodness and the warm emotive feelings of this Ten of Cups, we want to remind ourselves of what we're capable of and maintaining our authority and our analytical nature from the past, right? The strength of this King of Swords, look at how he's on this solid foundation. He is our foundation card, right? We want to be emotionally connected. We want to operate in the month of March with this playfulness, with this, being taught, being open, similar to the Page of Cups. Do not get into any sort of worry, fear, anxiety. That those could be Seven of Swords things too, because those are ultimately betrayals of our own emotional nature or of the abundance and the gifts that could be given to us this month. Okay, this is actually slightly a better reading, or actually it's a significantly better reading than what I was getting for Cancer and Pisces, so I feel good about this. The Chariot being Cancerian energy and major arcana, there could be a big transformation for you guys this month, or some sort of a move. The Chariot indicates movement, right? It can indicate celebration too. So it could be like some sort of a move towards something better in your life. And i.e., what I mean by that is it's almost like because we're feeling good this month and we're feeling, sort of whole and complete in that Ten of Cups, we're able to manifest bigger and better things, maybe things that we didn't expect, right? That's that Page of Cups. He brings that message. He always has this fish in a cup, right? Which is sort of like kind of like random and weird, but it's that magical thinking, right? So he could be an opportunity for you where it's like, oh shit, I didn't even see this coming. And the Chariot then takes us there, right, towards that opportunity. Usually Chariot energy to me is fast moving. It's more like the Eight of Wands on steroids is how I kind of see it. There's a couple of, all of the cards can indicate movement really in their own way. But to me, the Chariot and the Eight of Wands are the two movement cards that are really specifically about like, oh shit, we're moving. I always see the Chariot as being more like, it's more of a celebratory thing, and it's also very much empowered. It being major arcana to me speaks to the idea that this will be significant for you. This change or this movement could be longer than, say, the month of March, but allow yourself to be carried. I feel like both of these two white cats say to me that Scorpio is going to be sitting pretty throughout the month of March. I just feel like they both look like they're sitting there pretty. These two white cats. It almost looks like the same cat to me. I don't know if you guys can see that on my screen, but it looks like the same sort of cat. Like maybe in the beginning of March, you're being given experiences where you need to learn a few things, but by the end of March, you're celebrating those teachers, right? And moving forward with the knowledge that comes with the Chariot and that Cancerian, lovely sort of nurturing energy that Cancer carries with it, right? So totally positive aspects affecting you guys, totally positive center for you guys in the month of uh, March. I will say this though, with that King of Swords down below, it might be a little bit, and that Seven of Swords up above, it says to me that my Scorpios, you guys might have been in this track or habit of being a little bit more analytical, a little bit more cut and dry. Don't allow that to it's not like I don't want to say don't allow that to seep back in, but enjoy some of this emotional stuff. Let yourselves resonate at that place, because that's really your home element and who you truly are. And although that King of Swords is strong and it's worked for you in the past, let your guard down just a little bit and allow yourself to feel a little bit or a whole lot more, right? Because there's some gifts that are coming to you through those experiences, especially with that Page of Cups and that Chariot. All right, so the last card would be the potential outcomes card. And what I mean by this is where everything ends out for the Scorpios in the month of March. Now, it is potential. So what I mean by that is that barring that nothing major changes, right, and we just keep moving on the way that we're moving on, this will be sort of the outcome of, for the majority of you. But if this is a negative card and we don't want to have it happen, we can use this card as a warning to make choices and changes now through free will to sort of change our course, right? So that this card does not have to come to pass. It is not set in stone by any means, but it does give me sort of an overall indication of where things naturally may progress if we don't do anything other than just keep doing what we've been doing. And that's the great thing, because if it is a great card, we can just sort of, keep going about things the way we've been going about them. Feel our way through all of this, enjoy the gifts that we have, being in gratitude, being in play, and allowing ourselves to be taught all the way through this month. So let's see. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands. I'll take it. Wands is the element of the spirit. Wands is also, 10s are also completion. What I like about this is we have the 10 here and the 10 here. So we see two 10s. And it's funny, I've been seeing 10-10 a lot on the clock lately, for the last few weeks. But my initial thought with this is, do you see that Seven of Swords up in the spirit space, right? That sort of stinking thinking, or people that maybe are not our best asset, their opinions, their thoughts, their ideas for us, whatever. I feel like by the end of March, because we're feeling so good and the opportunities that are coming to us through that page and through that Chariot, the 10 of Wands allows us to let down sort of some of those burdens, right? We're almost there. We're almost done. We're almost complete. We're walking out of March and into April, sort of having let go of something. The letting go, because that's this bundle of wands, he's almost home and he's about to let go of that pressure. I already see some of the let go of that pressure in that 10 of Cups, right? There's already an enjoyment. We're already being told to relax and play a little bit. The 7 of Swords up there is kind of, I think, what we're letting go of. It's that ability to maybe not want to trust ourselves at an emotional level. I feel like there's something going on in these three cards along here, that the gifts that are coming to us and the feelings that we're operating from, as long as we maintain the positivity and sort of the appreciation and gratitude, it's not going to be perfect all month, but, we're grateful for what we have. We have abundance. We have maybe more than others, whatever it might be, and we're able to share that with those that we love. It's going to enable us to get to the end of the month and understand at a spiritual level, we can let go of the burden that we're carrying at spirit, right? Because this 7 of Swords is in the spirit space. And so to me, when we're talking about a spiritual card of completion at the end of the month, I kind of see that bundle of wands as maybe those 7 swords, right? Those thoughts that we have that maybe deter us, that stop us, that would keep us from feeling things or experiencing things at a deeper, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a deeper, more childlike level, right? If that makes sense. And the reason why I say childlike is because this playfulness card is being called in. It's asking us to be more vulnerable, to be teachable. I mean, we certainly see that in the Page of Cups too. If we're open to that, there's really a whole lot of beauty, a whole lot of optimism and opportunity for you this month to not only learn about where you might get in your own way or where others get in your own way, but also by month's end, how to sort of be able to be okay with that and to let that go. And what I mean by that is the Ten of Wands, because it's the element of fire in the spirit, says to me that this is a true, deep letting go in a like a healthy sort of way, right? So whatever it is that Seven of Swords represents for us, if that's an actual person, a situation, it could be like a job that feels like a betrayal, or a coworker, or something that gets our high, that fucks us up, that we don't, that we give way too much attention to, that we've known that we've given too much attention to for far too long. It's time to let it go this month. And by month's end, we really do let it go in a very profound and strong way. And we're able to move into April all the ready for whatever we see being brought to us through this Page of Cups and be carried there via this Chariot. All right. I will say this, the strength of the King of Swords, we're going to be able to use our own mind and analytical, truthful, honest nature too, plus with the depth of the Ten of Cups to be our guides into April. And you guys are going to be fine. That's why you feel safe enough to sort of let go of whatever this burden is up here. All right. Enjoy the month of March. That's what this playfulness says. Enjoy the month of March and just really experience it for all it's worth. Set aside all of the, anybody else's sort of petty drama or, even the dramas of the world. Yes, we're all facing like major changes collectively that are creating, I would say even pseudo depression. Like I really feel the reason why this is coming out late this month is, and why I was sort of worried about the readings, kind of coming in similarly, is because I was probably having a much harder time than I wanted to really admit over the last, 4 or 5 days, just through experiences. We had a massive storm here. My brother passed away. There was just a series of like events, like boom, boom, boom. It was like hit after hit after hit. And on top of all of that, we're, that COVID stuff is still underneath all of that. Financial worries are still underneath all of that for a lot of us. There's a lot of things going on. Those of us that go out into the world to work, we have to make that decision to suit up and show up to pay the bills. And every time we put on a mask, we're like, at least my mind is doing that. My more emotional self is going, is this enough? Will this keep me safe? Am I safe? It's, and that sort of has permeated everything we do right now. So that's not a bad thing. What I think this reading is telling me is, at least for Scorpio, to let up the like sort of gas on that idea and go towards the idea that you are safe, you're smart enough, you're capable enough, and you can trust your intuition and emotions to guide you towards that safety, or at least making the right decisions in your day-to-day life so that you can find optimism and opportunity and move towards that. I hope that makes sense for you guys. If it did, please, please, please hit the thumbs up and please share this video out. Tell your friends about me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I am trying to build this YouTube channel and it has been so hard. I'm really at my wit's end with where and how I need to promote this channel. I'm starting to question, I love doing this work, and I'm starting to question, is this really the work that I'm supposed to be doing? Because it's been very hard. But I will keep at it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful month of March, and I will see you guys next month. Again, you can always tune in for the daily. It's not sign related. It's just a general energy read for the day for everybody to kind of tap in and figure out what's going on for them and how best to harness the energies at play. And you can always contact me for a one-on-one reading via either over the phone or Facebook video. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.